Migration is a nation-building initiative. Robert Menzies called it the greatest exercise in nation-building for Australia that this century has seen in the last century. He said the Liberal Party has been at the vanguard of these efforts. And we have. It was the Liberal Menzies government who signed the Refugee Convention in 1954 and embraced an ambitious post-war program of immigration. In 1960 it was the Liberal Party who abolished the White Australia policy from its party platform 5 whole years before the ALP made a similar change. It was Malcolm Fraser's Liberal government that responded to a genuine regional refugee crisis, resettling an average of 8,630 Indo-Chinese refugees a year between the 1st of July 1975 and 30 June 1981. And in 1982, and negotiated an agreement with Vietnam for an orderly departure program to reunite families of Vietnamese refugees already in Australia in an orderly and authorised way. It was in 1996 that the Howard government inherited from Labor an immigration program that lacked a clear economic rationale. It was dominated by family reunion and was bringing in many migrants depending on welfare support, and it was severely open to fraud. It had lost the support of the Australian people. Our longest-serving Immigration Minister, Philip Ruddock, introduced reforms to sharpen the program's economic focus, reduced the size of the family reunion component and restricted new migrants' access to welfare. Australia's success as an immigration nation is based fundamentally on our commitment to the economic participation of migrants at all levels. We have always valued the involvement of migrants in our economy. The Coalition's policies are all about restoring the proven measures and response of the Howard government to things that worked when we were last in office. Under that program, the percentage of Australians who were concerned about immigration levels being too high almost halved, from more than 2/3 to just over 1/3. And over the same period, our permanent immigration intake doubled. Those who had the skills to find employment were the priority of our scheme. Over the 10 years to 2005-06, unemployment for skilled migrants fell from 9% to just 3%, better than the national average, and labour force participation rates were also higher. It was a generous program. We had a proud record of welcoming people from more than 140 countries. In 2003, $100.9 million was committed over 4 years to improve settlement services. And on our borders, the Howard government stopped the boats, while resettling about 150,000 refugee and humanitarian entrants. It was also a compassionate program. Over 10 years, the Howard government provided more than 52,800 offshore special humanitarian visas with an average of more than 5,000 places each year. Last year, in 2011-12, those number of places fell to just over 700. This is what you can achieve when Australians have confidence in their government to run a program with stability and integrity. In abandoning the measures that we saw the Howard government put in place, Labor inherited a solution and they've created a problem. We have seen more than 1,100 people perish at sea. These are the consequences of a decision taken by the Labor government to get rid of the measures that worked. You know, in this space, there is no decision you take that is free of moral burden when it comes to immigration, and particularly on our borders. Even if a measure is motivated by compassion, even if a measure is motivated by a hope that a more compassionate outcome may result, if that is not the result, and the result is 1,100 people dead, and the result is 50,000 people turning up by that method, and 15,000 people denied a visa, then that is a heavy moral burden, I think, for any government to carry. And frankly, if I had to choose between the burden carried by the Howard government, where there were human consequences for the decisions they took, and the moral burden that this government carries today, I would much rather carry the burden of Philip Ruddock and John Howard.